Flame on! Flame on! Flame on! Wrong franchise!
It's okay, Chris. You'll get your shot later.
Hey guys, what's up? Lumpy Ice Cream here.
And the Tim.
On the show where we make intros that make no sense.
Ever.
He's not even the right
He's not even the right Captain
actor.
America, man.
Yeah. So, we're late again with our videos. If you've subscribed to my channel.
Which no one has.
19 people, bitch.
That's no one.
I know.
19 dead people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You'll know me making videos. I mean, hell, I promised Arkham Knight videos like weeks back.
Yep.
Yeah. So we were going to do Deep Breath on Sunday. We missed Sunday altogether.
Yep.
We're not going to do the Series 8 episode reviews anymore. Instead we're going to do Doctor Who season reviews, where we take a look at the whole season and evaluate it, you know, put the episodes in their order and all of that.
Rate it with an overall score.
Yep.
Your basic review shit.
Basic review shit.
Yeah, basic review shit.
So, as you can tell by the title, we're reviewing Fant4stic.
Yep.
Fantastic Four. I think we're both in agreement that it wasn't as bad as what we thought it was going to be.
Well, that again, as you said, it could be due to the fact that we did go into it with really low expectations.
Very true, because if you saw our 2014 reviews, I said the same thing about Age of Extinction.
Yeah.
Where it was so bad, at least the reviews I saw, that I ended up liking that movie initially. When rewatching it, it was a pile of dog shit.
Like
in essence, well, not the worst. I don't think. I still think Revenge of the Fallen was just that tiny bit worse. But we're not here to talk about that. It could entirely be down to the fact that we'd heard so much shit about it.
Yeah.
Even walking into the cinema, I said, time to watch the equivalent of getting shot in the head.
Yeah.
And
we were waiting until like the session before us had finished, so like we were sitting outside of the theater just for making jokes about it for an hour.
Yeah. But then again, when you look at what our initial reaction to Age of Ultron, we came out liking it, and then about 5 minutes later, we're like, actually, that wasn't that good. So some movies, it takes a second watch to get your opinion, but I think it's safe to say I could watch this again and still like it as much as I do now.
I could probably watch it and just like have my liking of it just slightly lower.
Yeah, probably. Like I've had time to think about it, and I don't like it as much as I did walking out. So, the way we're going to review things, it's kind of like a prelude to how I'm going to review action figures once I get that. We've got 4 categories, each of us. Plot, cast, character. Now, the characters we're rating different to the cast, because a cast member can do a good job, but the character can be complete shit.
Yep. So
we're ranking them on different merits there. And the look of the film, both like the visual style and the tone of the film and all of that. We're scoring each of those categories out of 10, which means we get an overall of 40, but with both our scores, the films are trying to achieve an overall of 80.
Yep.
That's our goal here. Alright, so the plot of the film, let's talk about it. We were introduced to Reed Richards.
Yep.
Who is
they're
in 5th grade. Ben Grimm is also in his class.
Yep.
And he wants to be the first person to teleport himself.
Yeah, and we get
if this is taking place in the same universe as X-Men, Blue Guy has your beat.
Yeah. So we're introduced to the fact that he's sort of a super genius, even at this age, because like there's a bit where the camera like pans in from behind Reed, and he's scribbling in his book, And it's just a bunch of equations that would make no sense to someone with regular intellect or whatever. Probably wouldn't make any sense to someone with high intellect either, because you know, this is a movie, so so it's good. Like that I thought that bit was kind of like cool, and and I like the little. I'm guessing that was a reference to the Fant4stic car.
Yes, definitely.
The
line from the trailer. You're still working on the
flying car? No, I'm not anymore.
I've already built it. No, he said, I've already built it to the teleportation thing. And he said, are you going to put it next to your flying car? I was like, I gave up on that.
Yeah.
I'm not working on that anymore.
A lot of people would give up on
he is ridiculed by his teacher and classmates, except for Ben Grimm, who...
Ben kind of takes an interest in it, and he's like, this is kind of cool.
He isn't laughing, he's just kind of, we then cut to a scene at the Grimm family's car shop, or junkyard,
whatever.
And a little bit of domestic abuse scene there.
Yep. Ben doesn't really have the best sort of place to grow up.
Yeah. His brother actually says it's clobbering time before hitting him, and then his mother intervenes and all of that. So it's not like the whole family treat him like shit. But there's a noise in the car yard, and he goes out and investigates, and it's Reed. He's trying to get a power converter, and Ben tags along. They do the experiment, and
so the little model car gets teleported, and then there's rocks and sand there, and it's like, and then it skips forward
7 years.
Skips forward 7 years.
They're at they're a high school
science
18.
fair. Yep, high school science fair.
Yep.
Where Reed's built an improved version. Well, we say improved. Well, improved version of the teleporter.
It took 7 years.
Yep, 7 years. It would
make a new one. I mean,
like I'm guessing it went through a couple,
probably
a couple iterations, but like 7 years does seem about right to get teleportation technology at least slightly working.
Yeah.
They try to teleport a model plane. It works. It gets teleported. They try to get it back, and it's burnt to shit. Then they get disqualified from the science fair
by the same teacher.
Yeah, by the same teacher from the fifth grade scene.
Yeah.
And the teacher says that this is a science fair, not a magic show. I don't see any real science being utilized here, and it's like,
I didn't like that bit. I felt they could have explained it better. Like, this technology is not meant, for the modern day.
I don't know. I just feel. Yeah.
It's not like we're not in the 1800s here.
I do feel like the whole
proper science.
I don't see any real science being demonstrated here. Did you not see that cool lasers?
It did. That was science. I mean, come on.
Did you not see the lasers? This is where, like, did you think those were mirrors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they are approached by Franklin Storm and his adopted daughter Sue.
Yep.
And they were impressed. They've been working on the same technology, but haven't been able to get it right.
I love that little exchange between Franklin and Reed, where it's just like, so we can't get this right, blah, 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 blah. And Reed's just looking at him like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that scene. That was a good scene.
Reed is recruited and to come work or study at the Baxter... it wasn't the Baxter building, it was Baxter Foundation?
Baxter Foundation, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of weird that Ben wasn't asked, at least.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking that probably... And Reed would have probably been the kind to say, well, if he's not going, I'm not.
Yeah.
Because that comes up later in the movie again.
Does.
If Ben would have rejected it out of hand, like, said, no, I don't want to go, but you go ahead, then that would have been fine. So they begin work, just cutting the fat here, just to not talk too much about the, just getting to the bare necessities. it turns out Franklin has been working on this for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's frozen again. But yeah, the screen's frozen. Hopefully the recording's still going. But then shit goes down, or went down, with Victor Von Doom, who I guess left it and ambushed everything.
Yep.
And we'll talk more about him when we get to the character portion. But Franklin goes to Doom's place.
Yep.
Very antisocial. Thank God the reports were not true, but we'll touch base more on that. Yeah, so he goes there. He's pretty much rejecting it out of hand. No, I don't want any part of it. But then when he finds out Sue is involved...
Yeah, he's instantly interested, as you'd expect.
Which isn't really flushed out. Did they have something, or did he just...
Yeah, it gave off the feel that, like, he never really, like, had feelings for her or whatever.
Yeah.
And she rejected him, and he, like, hasn't let go or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, yeah, and, we get little, sort of, little glimpse at what Victor can do.
Yeah. Like,
he's got this whole little scouter thingy.
Yeah.
That he basically controls everything around the room.
Yeah.
Like, he's playing a video game
cool.
and stuff. He's, like, looking online and things. And
yeah.
He can close his shutters on his windows. That was cool.
That was. He like, opens it and it's just like... I'm like, I want that technology.
I do. Everyone does. Everyone should.
Yeah.
And if they don't, fuck off.
Yeah. Like, the ability to close my own door when people come in and don't close my door.
Yeah.
Rob.
Or, you know, people could just close the door.
Yeah. But, yeah, that was cool seeing what he could do. We're then introduced to Johnny, who, is a speed demon, I guess.
If there was
racing.
If there was any way to be less subtle about saying this is the Human Torch,
yeah,
they definitely haven't discovered it.
No,
because
he's got the Firefly.
He's got the fire flower
on the mirror.
From Super Mario, like hanging from his mirror.
Yeah,
like they call him, like, I don't know, what do they call him?
I can't remember.
They I don't know. I think they call him a hotshot or something.
Probably.
Yeah. So yeah, there's quite a few references even in that, like, 5 minutes to the fact that, hey, look, this is going to be the Human Torch, and I felt that was like.
I find it just quite ironic. We're talking about the Human Torch, and this is freezing like oh hell. That's just
okay.
That's reverse irony.
I'll give you that joke.
But yeah, he's obviously had some trouble in the past.
Yep.
With the law.
Mm-hmm.
Franklin says, you know, you're wasting your potential and all of that. And confiscates the car. He's like, I built this car with my own hands. You can't take it from me. He's like, I fucking paid for it. You fucking coming to work for me. Whether you like it or fucking not. I don't care if you've got one arm. You're coming to fucking work on my machine.
He doesn't literally have one arm. He's just broken his arm. In the next shot, he's
a little bit of a time lapse kind of thing. I presume, like, maybe a few weeks, a month, maybe. So, yeah, stuff goes down.
Johnny has flames on his welding mask.
Yep. And then basically they build the machine. Ben is not a part of it at all. He's back home doing
whatever
Ben shit.
He's not being a rock monster.
No. So yeah, they build the machine and test a chimp in there.
The chimp was adorable. Okay.
Yeah. It was a CG chimp, but whatever.
It was an adorable CG
chimp or monkey. Chimp? Was it a chimpanzee?
I will forever.
It doesn't matter. It was a fucking monkey.
I will compare every movie chimp to that chimp.
We're gonna have all the internet monkeys going, that's racist!
Yeah. I'm still gonna compare every movie chimp to that now.
Yeah. But, it's teleported and it's a success, and they're all like, yeah, we can go now, and then the
crouch douchey government military guy
is all like, all right, we're gonna get NASA involved.
Yep.
And they're all like, wait,
what?
And it's like,
you fucking what?
Well, you gentlemen have done your deed. Now it's time for us to do ours.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Best scene.
Yeah, and then they do this kind of cool scene where they're all drunk.
Yep.
And they're all like, you know.
Well,
everyone remembers the astronauts that went to the moon,
but no one knows the scientists who worked on the rocket. That made a very good point.
It did. Plus, what they were kind of signed on to do was, in essence, go in the machine, and then that's not happening.
Yeah.
So they decide, you know what? Let's just do it ourselves. We can be there and back.
Like drunken decision. Let's do it.
Yeah. So Reed doesn't want to go without Ben.
So we cut to a sleeping Ben, and he answers his phone.
Yeah.
And Reed's just like, I'm not doing this without you, man.
Without you.
We can't.
Come on.
No, we're not going. And Ben's just sitting there like, what?
Are you drunk?
What are you?
A little bit.
Yes, I am, but I don't think that actually matters right now.
So Victor, Ben, Reed, and Johnny go to Planet Zero, which is a lot of people thinking that's the negative zone, and that'd be cool if it is.
Yep.
So they're all there. Johnny doesn't want to go down into the thing, so he's the anchor. Victor goes
tampers
to green
with
lava.
Weird green energy lava stuff.
Don't put your hand in there, dude. I know you're crazy, but
everyone knows. Don't put your hand in weird green shit.
Yeah, it could be acid for all you know, man.
Yeah.
But it's much more. It's much worse. He touches it and the whole thing explodes. Like, so they all run back. It's all this volcanic lava bullshit. As they're climbing, Victor falls in and meets his doom, I guess.
So they get back into the pod teleporter thing.
Susan is aware that it's happened. An alert goes. She's somewhere in the Baxter complex, and it comes up an alert that the pod is being used. So she calls Franklin. She rushes in and she's trying to get hold of them because there's like cameras in the pods and all of that.
Yep.
She can't establish communication until they get back in after all the things are going off. So Ben's door
opens up and a bunch of rocks start flooding into it.
Yeah.
Johnny gets
catches fire.
Yeah, he gets set on fire and stuff.
That to me was kind of strange. Like, it's like they're trying to justify why they all have these different powers. It was cool, but like I was like, okay.
It did feel a little forced.
Yeah.
But you know, how else are you gonna do these powers?
Yeah, exactly.
Aside from like how the original movies explained it, like that was the emotional state they were in at that time or whatever.
Yeah, but then they get back, and
there's this really tense scene where Reed's lying there.
But first the explosion when they come back, it ripples through like the whole city.
Explodes.
Sue gets knocked out.
She gets knocked back, and you see like flashes of invisibility on her.
And it's kind of weird that the city is engulfed. But
I don't really think the city was engulfed. It was more
it does show it. There was most of it.
Yeah.
Before just going into a shockwave.
I feel like they got direct contact, so that's why they got the powers.
But like I felt that the whole shockwave through the city wasn't necessary because that just opens up more questions. It's like, well, if Sue got powers, why didn't everyone else in that blast radius? Like
so anyway, we get this kind of tense scene where Reed comes to and he like starts crawling about and his legs are caught under this beam.
Yeah.
So
and
he hears Ben's voice, so he crawls over a ton of rocks that you keeps hearing Ben's voice. He looks over. There's a burnt ass corpse there, and that was like oh my god,
Johnny.
oh jeez, yeah, that was Johnny.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then it takes you a second to realize that, wait a second, his legs were caught under that beam.
Oh, well, I knew.
Yeah.
Throughout that whole scene, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna like pan over and he's gonna be outstretched.
It actually took me a second to remember that, because like it was a very quick shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so he turns around, his legs are stretched.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
It's about a 20-second long scene of him just crawling.
Yeah.
I want to say, but yeah. And then he just kind of passes out. And then we get this kind of horrific kind of sequence where Reed awakens.
Yep.
And he's all
stretched out.
His face is like flat. And he's like crying out, "Where are my friends?" and all of that. And they're just shouting at him like, move this, move that, and it's kind of horrific.
It's like
body
oh my
horror.
god, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Whoa. Jesus.
Sue and Johnny are in a coma.
Johnny's like still on fire.
Yeah, Johnny is like
he's not a burnt corpse anymore. He's healed somehow.
Is that like Johnny's permanent state now, or
I don't know. I don't think they made that clear.
Well, I kind of thought the suit, because they call them containment suits, potentially. Or maybe it takes effort for him to reduce the flame, rather than he has to effort to...
I mean, like, there is that bit where he is lying on the operating table or whatever, and he's on fire, and then he, like, wakes up, and he's in pain or whatever, and starts screaming, and then the fire expands. So, yeah, I guess, like, when he's calm...
Yeah, and Sue as well.
As much.
Does it take effort for her to be not invisible? Because she's continuing to fluctuate.
I don't know. I think
the visible spectrum is what they say.
I guess, like,
at least when she's unconscious.
Yeah. So I guess that's explained in like what we'll get to in a sec.
Yeah. So Reed awakens and he hears Ben's cry through a vent. So he gets up, crawls through the vent,
still stretched out.
Yeah, still stretched, fully naked. Dick dragging along the vent.
Yep.
And then he sees Ben, which it looks like it's not so much the rocks just formed into him. It looks like he is forming from the rocks.
Yeah.
So like it's like shifting. And it's an emotional scene.
Yeah.
With him just like, "I'll come back for you," and he's like, "Help me," and they're so frightened and
it's like you like
they don't know what's happening to them.
You can feel that, oh my god, they actually do not know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah,
they do seem very scared by this.
Yeah.
And understandably so.
Exactly. So Ben's like, help me, and Reed's just up in the vent saying, because they're coming for him, because they know, oh shit, he's escaped, and he's like, "I'll come back for you," and he escapes through a vent and runs off into the wilderness.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird how he's not all stretched when he leaves the vent. Because then...
But, like, that was a very zoomed out shot, so...
Yeah, but he has full control of his body. He runs away.
Yeah.
And then later on, just jumping ahead, when Doom gets rid of all the springs, his body just flops. So, like, was he in control of his body, or wasn't he?
I don't know.
Like, it's just little details that don't bother a lot of people, but for me, they do. But, whatever. So, then there's the part where everyone is pretty much in agreement. The movie just goes nose down.
It does.
And that's the 1 year later jump.
Yeah.
It does a jump, and we go 1 year later.
It doesn't even show any flashbacks.
It does not show what's
year.
happened. The closest we get is Ben has been recruited.
He now does jobs for the military.
He now does jobs for the military and has 43 confirmed kills.
Yep.
In that whole year. Before we get to the 1 year jump, I think it was before, Dr. Allen has a conversation with Ben saying, you know, you scratch our back, we scratch yours, basically.
Yep.
You know, you become, and that's what they are in essence in the movie. They are weaponized things for the military.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever had the intent to cure them.
Nope.
They wanted to weaponize them. Johnny is next. He's shown taking down drones. Sue, I'd say, isn't in full control of her power.
No, not yet.
She does seem
to be struggling. She does seem to be struggling with the whole
which kind of
like a force field.
Leads me to believe that her natural state is that of fluctuation between visible and invisible. So, and she's kind of not having any of it. She doesn't want to be militarized.
Yeah.
She just wants her normal life back. And it was at this point that I'm just like kind of zoning out of the movie because of the whole 1 year jump thing.
Yeah.
Eventually they all kind of come to a decision that the only way they can be cured is if they find Reed.
Yep.
And Reed's in hiding somewhere.
Yep.
We don't know what he's been doing for this year. He's been trying to track Ben down.
We don't get any flashbacks or anything.
I thought the one thing that was kind of cool is he morphs his face to disguise himself.
Yeah, and it's a really like scene.
Yeah, because I'm like sitting there, I'm like, he looks a lot older. It didn't kind of. Yeah. He's built
his face.
They all have their own. Well, obviously not Ben, but they all have their own suits.
Yep. I thought that was cool.
Invisible Woman, or Sue's, is kind of bland. But it doesn't really need to do much. Johnny's has vents on it.
Yep.
And Reed's built his own. And
like
it's got springs and elastic. And which is implied later in the movie that it keeps his body at the state it's in. And, I mean, in the trailer, I was kind of like, why do Johnny and Sue's suits look all sleek and all of that, and Reed's looks
Sweet.
And they all kind of resent Reed for leaving.
Just a little bit,
Ben the most, because Ben comes down and he like goes to full-on punch Reed, and he's angry, and they have a scene and all of that. And then he gives him a headbutt, and then he's knocked out and put in a chamber while they're flying back.
Yep.
And they have a scene and a talk, kind of wrap things up, and they're all good.
Yep.
Sue's kind of pissed off, but not so much, and Johnny doesn't seem to be fazed at all by it.
Johnny's like, I don't give a fuck, man.
I don't care.
Like, I got some military weaponization to do.
Yeah. So they get Dr. Allen gets Reed to help with
building the second
version of the machine.
I don't remember what it's called.
A lot of people called me crazy because when I watched the trailer, I'm like, there are two different machines. And I'm like, no, there's not. I'm like, watch the fucking trailer. There are two separate machines. But whatever. This one doesn't so much have chambers. It's just one large pod, and they all go into it.
Kind of looks like the pod that they used in the lunar landing a little bit.
Yeah. So, but it's not them who go there. It's a bunch of astronauts.
Yep.
And they find Victor, who pretends to be injured.
Yep.
At least that's what I thought. I don't think he was actually injured.
Yeah.
He pretends like, yes, you found me. His suit has become bonded to his body.
Yep.
Where he got that cloak from, I don't know.
He made it from the green.
He doesn't seem to be Victor anymore.
No.
It is implied that something has possibly possessed him.
Mm.
A lot of people have said that his behavior in the movie and the way he acts is kind of like Annihilus, another character from the comics. I believe who's inhabits the negative zone. I'm not exactly sure, but when I heard, I haven't heard this theory on the internet, but I think possibly could have been possessed by some other being, maybe, or kind of like a symbiote kind of deal.
Yep.
But like the glass of the visor is like merged with his face. It's quite horrific.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it does. So he comes hobbling towards them, and well, at first they get there and like we're getting a heat signature.
Yep. Blah 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 blah.
And he starts.
So he gets
limping.
taken back.
But I think the funniest thing is during that scene, someone behind me in the cinema, literally, I shit you not, said, "Oh my God, it's Victor!" Like, genuinely, I did it sarcastically just then, but this person was speaking with genuine shock at the fact that it's Victor. I'm like, what, mate? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, obviously hasn't seen Fantastic Four before.
Yeah, no. But anyway, they take him back and they strap him down and, you know, he's unconscious, but then he's like
Dr. Allen walks in and he's like
talking.
We can help you.
Yeah, we can help you. What happened there?
And he's just like, bro, I don't want to be fucking helped.
Yeah, I want to get back.
I want to go back, man. You shouldn't have taken me away.
Yeah, no.
And then then
which.
Yeah.
Okay, so why did he approach them in the first place? Now that I think about it.
I don't know.
Like, why did Victor want to go back if he just wants to... Like, maybe he wants to go there and then go back to create the portal?
Yeah.
Maybe?
That seems like it would be.
Because, like, it's a very crazy idea and...
Yeah.
It's not really sane. I don't know if that works into the character. I don't know if I'm making excuses or if it's just bad writing. But, he kills Dr. Allen, explodes his head, which...
Like, he starts like growing balls and stuff,
yeah, he's
and
like
it's
getting
like, oh
red
my God,
in the
what's
face.
happening?
So
what is happening? And then all of a sudden, just boom, blood all around in the top of his back.
Yeah, because he's wearing a hazmat suit for the scene.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my God, this took a dark turn.
Oh yeah, and then we get a scene where like the power shuts off, and
Doom's walking down the hall.
He's walking down the hall, and he is just blowing everyone's brains out.
He's just like...
It's just... It was
terrifying.
It really was. I was genuinely shocked at that
I was like, holy fuck, we're doing like exploding heads in this movie?
That is my favorite scene of the movie.
I
thought that was so fucking awesome.
I was watching it and just going, wow, a lot of 14-year-olds in black hoodies are going to get really excited by this scene.
Yeah, but I was just like shocked. Like every time he would do it, I was like, oh fuck!
That's it was like the wet dream of an edgy teenager who makes vampire OCs.
So that makes two characters that Tim Blake Nelson will never be.
Yep.
The first being the leader, second being Mole Man.
Yep.
I find that funny. But we then get a scene between Doom and Franklin. Yep. Where Franklin's like... He seems to know that if Doom goes back, it will create a wormhole.
Yep.
At least I don't think it was ever stated before. Like, I don't know if Doom ever said that was his plan. But, yeah, he's all like, don't go. And then he's like, oh, fuck you. I'm just gonna go. And then he kills Franklin.
He doesn't explode his head this time.
Yeah, no.
It's more like
he didn't.
Boils
he just,
and everything.
Released a shockwave and it just kind of crisped him up a bit.
Yeah.
Which...
I feel that was done so that...
it was only done so that he could have that little word that little final
moment
word
between with Sue and Johnny.
Yeah, which I didn't like. Like, I'm like, you show him use the same power to kill. If he had used his powers to kill other guys in different ways, like he didn't just always walk down the thing and just blow everyone's brains out.
Yeah.
Like all of them, I'd be fine. But the fact that he shows different abilities towards Franklin and kills him a different way, it kind of took me out of it. And then we get the final scene, or the final battle.
Yep.
Well, the only battle.
Yeah.
He goes back to Planet Zero, and it creates a massive wormhole.
Yep.
And starts sucking
lots
of collateral damage.
I think it does say that he overloads the machine.
Yeah. Well, he overloads the machine, and that creates a wormhole. And then the Fantastic Four go into it. Well, the team go into it. Johnny just flies in, but Sue creates a force field around Ben, herself, and Reed, and just
makes them play.
They go in. And then we get the shot from the trailer.
Yep.
I think it was flipped, because I think Ben was on the opposite side. I'm not sure. And Victor's in the shot, which I don't remember seeing in the trailer.
Doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, so they run. They're like, I don't know, a long way away. So they start running towards it, and here's the part that took me out of the film.
Yep.
Victor keeps deflecting them.
Yep.
Ben's running, and he just gets a pile of rocks and just smashes it all on Ben.
Yep.
And just does all this other shit.
I guess, like,
I can't remember what
killing people uses a bunch of energy, and he has to use that energy to keep
killed,
this whole shield thingy up. I don't fucking know.
They could have explained it.
Yeah.
Like, I even said...
I think it's just down to, like, it's just down to us to try to explain it ourselves, and, you know, like, that's gonna start a lot of arguments.
There's things that we can explain ourselves, but then there's other things that should have had some explanation, and that is why isn't he killing them? Because later on, he goes to kill Sue.
Yeah.
And he's doing it by, like, keeping her, crushing her force field in. Why didn't he just blow her brains out?
Yeah.
And, like, he obviously was not trying to keep them alive. Because he tried to kill Sue first. And I felt he would have tried to kill all of them if he had tried to kill Sue.
Yeah, it's just little things.
Like, oh, you got your powers from here. For some reason, I can't use them on you. Like, I don't know. Something like that. Or, like you said, he has to keep his energy on here.
Yeah, he's keeping his focus up there, I guess.
I felt blowing their brains out would have required less energy than flying all these fucking rocks onto them. It was really weird. It was kind of a shit final battle.
Yeah.
All I remember are the negatives. There's not a single positive.
Yeah. So long story short, they stop Doom. And
by working as a team.
By working as a team, as usual. Team always unites toward the end.
Yeah.
And then
Ben knocks him into the portal.
And he presumably dies.
And the wormhole closes. Yeah. They fly through, and the wormhole closes.
And then they get back to Earth, and there's just this massive...
Yeah, there's a massive hole. Lots of collateral damage.
Area 57 used to be. And you love collateral damage, so this must have been great for you.
Oh, yeah. That's one reason I hated Age of Ultron. You'd think that movie would have massive collateral damage.
It had fucking none.
Yeah, no. But then we get the final scene where they get the complex, their own complex.
Yep.
And they just kind of joke at the end. Say, oh, what should we name ourselves? What were the names they came up with?
The Human Torch and the Torchettes.
Yeah. Something and the thing that no one wanted.
Yep.
The brain and his neutrons.
The brain and his neutrons, and Sue's like, how about the brain and her neutrons? And I was like, that's cool.
That's like the best thing she did in that movie. And then there's the Age of Ultron ending.
Where, like, okay, so...
I got it.
So, like, they go... they're all looking over at a complex and stuff, and Ben's just like, yeah, it's fantastic. And Reed just sort of looks
at him again.
Like, say that again. It's fantastic. Okay, guys, I got it. Listen.
And then and I knew that was something coming on, like, they're doing an Age of Ultron.
Like, you're fucking doing this, aren't you?
Yeah.
I was half expecting bam,
yeah.
Bam, 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 bam. It's like, no, okay.
Yeah. But, so...
Shit.
The movie is...
It's not good.
For the first part...
Yep.
It's good. It's a good sci-fi story. I can see what they were going for.
Yep.
They were going for, like, a sci-fi horror kind of movie before a superhero movie, and it was a fresh take.
Yeah.
However, and I pinpointed the exact moment where it all goes wrong, and that's the 1 year jump.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it had been at least a 4-month jump, I would have been okay.
Yeah.
And then we got to see a lot more. This is not a long movie, but it feels like a long movie.
It feels long, but yet at the same time it feels really short, because at the end you're like,
it's a 100-minute. Okay. It's a 100-minute movie. For those keeping count, that's 1 hour and 40 minutes. So 20 minutes short of a full 2 hours. Which superhero movies are typically around.
Superhero movies typically go for like hour 50.
Yeah, maybe
hour
around
50,
2 hours.
2 hours. Yeah.
I would have been okay with this being a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
Keep the first half intact, and
then like flesh out the second half.
The second half, make that longer.
Yeah. Put a couple flashbacks in there somewhere. I don't know.
Or don't even have flashbacks. Show the events as they're fucking happening.
Yeah, that too. Even if it's just a montage, I don't care, as long as we
a montage I'm fine with.
As long as you show some like development between this whole oh my god, we're scared kids with superpowers. Now we're still kind of scared kids, but we have better control over our superpowers.
Ben and Reed are 18 years old.
Yeah.
When it happens to them.
Yeah.
So that would just be all kinds.
Speaking as an 18-year-old, that'd be fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah, it would. Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell. But it does take a nosedive in the last act.
It does.
It all feels rushed, and
it feels like
they're not focusing on where they're going, because they're moving so quickly that where they're going has just passed.
Yeah. And
that makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense for this movie.
Yeah.
It's very jarring when you have to take forever to get to a point, and then when they get to that point, they just half-ass and rush it.
Literally, they could have released 2 movies and been like Fantastic Four Part 1 and Fantastic Four Part 2. Like, Part 1's the sci-fi adventure and Part 2's the superhero movie.
Yeah.
I would have been cool with that. I would have seen both movies. Cause, like,
I think it just should have been the one movie. Because, like...
I'm just saying that I would have been cool with it if it were 2 movies.
Yeah. And a lot of people, for example, Shardamus Prime...
really
tore this
fucking hate this movie. Wow.
Because he hates it because it takes over an hour for the superheroes to show up. I think probably it wouldn't have been
the way he put it.
Yeah.
The way he put it was like an hour into the movie, no fucking superhero shit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah.
Like I agree, but not agree, because I think the sci-fi part was more interesting than the superhero part. But if they had just made the superhero part longer, it probably wouldn't have been as jarring.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I was really intrigued with what was happening throughout the whole thing.
I was genuinely interested, and I'm genuinely not interested in science.
Yeah. So anyway, it's time to rate the plot.
Okay.
I have given it a 4 out of 10.
Yep. Just
for the reasons I just said. It takes forever to get to the point that it wants to, and when it gets to there, it rushes through it like nothing.
Yep.
And it does diminish what came before.
Yeah.
I felt the content in the last half was good. It's just so rushed that if they had fleshed that out a bit more, it would have been perfectly fine.
You would have had a solid movie.
You would have. But the fact that it just took forever to get to it, and then it didn't pay off in the end.
Yeah.
So what did you give the plot? Here's in this on the car.
I think 5 as well.
5? Well, I gave it a 4. You give it a 5.
5, yeah.
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 Okay.
So same reasons, except like I'm gonna be a bit like more lenient toward it.
Yeah. Alright, so our next our next category is the cast.
The cast.
The cast. Alright, so we got Miles Teller as Reed Richards.
Okay, he looked the part.
I don't want to say that because I think the one thing that I kept... Well, then again, I had a problem with everyone in this movie watching the trailer.
Yeah.
Because they all felt so flat, one-dimensional. The trailer didn't get me excited for the movie. Because it's just all bland. And
the trailer mostly got me excited for the action that was... That
was hardly any in that.
I know, but I was expecting...
It wasn't until like the second trailer that had the kind of modern music in it.
That's it.
And the kind of action-packed trailer, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for this movie now. But that first trailer just kind of like...
Anyway, we're not here to talk about trailers, though.
No, so it helps.
But yeah, I felt that he looked the part.
Yeah.
I have read, like, I don't know how much, like, probably a few issues of Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Well, I've read nothing.
So yeah, I've read a couple issues of that, and he does look like Ultimate Reed.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have much problem with him. He does. You do get the really awkward nerd feel from him. Like he does very much pull off like the I don't know how to socialize.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I think the one
science too much.
Funny part is when Johnny goes to fist bump him, and he's like,
he's like
just pats the hand.
Like, what's that?
Yeah,
it's
really
and I like the scene where he's trying to make conversation with Sue in the library,
and
like he just
going to share.
What? I love this book.
Yeah.
I love this book. It was about this guy.
Was so awkward.
It was like Reed, wow.
Yeah, and that is...
book. It's about a guy who builds a machine that can go deeper than anything. Yeah. I know. I've read it. Oh. And I have been on that level of cheesy. Trust me, when trying to make conversation with someone, I have been in that level of cheesy. If anyone tries to say that that's the most ridiculous thing, yes, it is. But it's realistic. If you've ever seen me try to like talk to new people, that's me.
I mean, I once tried to make that if the world stopped, we'd all die sound romantic.
Yeah. It's like that. In that moment, we were all Reed Richards.
Yes.
It was like, oh.
I did laugh and have a good time with him more than I thought because.
Like
going into it, I heard a lot of bad things about the particular about Miles Teller, and just a lot of people saying, "Oh, that's horrendous casting. He's horrible." But I really loved the performance.
Yeah,
he nailed the acting, not just the funny parts, but the emotional parts.
Yeah.
And you feel for this character. He's definitely the main character of the movie.
Yeah.
Which I disagree with. There should be no main character in a Fantastic Four movie. They should all be the equal sum of the parts.
You should split the focus up between them.
Anyway, we'll discuss that when we get to the character. Kind of interesting how he didn't have the grey streaks.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think Ultimate Reed Richards has that either.
He does.
He does?
I'm pretty sure every incarnation has it. But like,
I don't think they could explain it, really.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, the way they do it in the original movies was just kind of, he just gets grey streaks.
Oh, rocking the grey streaks. And it's like, what?
But,
shit.
But,
cool, fuck.
But, I think he's probably the shining star of the movie.
Probably,
But then again, that's just due to the sheer amount of screen time he gets.
if the other three had gotten more screen time, then they probably all four of them would have shone through.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Then there's Kate Mara as Sue Storm.
I thought she did.
Am I pronouncing that right?
Hmm?
Kate Mara?
Yeah,
good.
I think so.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
She really lives up to the name because she was completely invisible in this movie. I didn't notice her that much.
Mm.
They're all kind of background characters for Reed.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like
I got a bitch tone off of her at the start. I'm like, is she supposed to be like a bitchy character? But she's not. She just kind of comes off that way and then just completely changes in like the second act or something.
I don't want to say that she came off as a bitch.
Well, not a cold character.
Yeah, I don't want to say that, but like she did come off as sort of like very much in her own world.
Yeah. And she didn't really stick out. I think out of all the members, she's probably the least relevant of the film. She just doesn't have really anything to do. She doesn't even go on the mission with them.
No.
The way she gets her powers is so kind of half-assed.
Yeah.
Like, she's just caught up in the explosion. I'm like, well, okay, where's all the other people that would have got caught up in that too? But,
yeah.
You know, whatever.
I feel like they didn't utilize her as much as they could have.
No, I mean, she did a fine job.
Yeah.
But... And that's all I can really say.
Yeah.
She didn't do bad, but she's just not noticeable.
It's not. She was
good
if she was. Again, if she'd gotten more screen time, I feel she would have. Yeah. We would be rating this a lot higher.
Yep. And then we've got Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm.
Yep. He was funny.
He was. I was one of those people that was against the casting at first.
Mm-hmm.
I probably want to say I was like that for around 6 months.
We made a lot of jokes about that.
Yeah.
Like, at his expense.
Yeah.
It was great.
I'm still of the opinion certain characters should not stray that line.
Mm.
One of which is Peter Parker, and I think the most justifiable reason for that is Miles Morales.
Mm.
You've got him. So there's
it's funny how you said stray that line instead of saying racial swapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like you're trying to censor yourself, and it's like, bro, you don't need to censor yourself.
But yeah, I just think there's some characters that should be a certain way, others can be in flux. I'm not going to hate if they do it to a character I think shouldn't, because I kind of learnt from this experience that okay, it's not as it was kind of blown out of proportion.
Mm.
I think I just got caught up in the mix that everyone else was getting caught up in.
Don't get caught up in the mix.
I saw like everyone raging. I'm like, sometimes on the internet you're afraid to express your opinion. Again, I know I've said this before, but no one gets up in arms about Jessica Alba in the original movies. But that's only because she's white passing, so... Yeah, exactly. And, but I'm still hardly a fan of gender swaps. I don't typically like them, unless you're Whoopi Goldberg.
Unless you're Whoopi Goldberg. Unless it's like in a really old story where like
maybe
every character's a man.
Yeah.
Like I know Hannibal does that a lot, and you love Hannibal, so... Yes. Yeah.
Not the new season. I watched like the first episode and couldn't give a shit about it. Anyway, yeah, so Michael B. Jordan was fantastic.
He was great.
He was good. Again, didn't really stand out.
Yeah, didn't really
he's probably he's just above Sue.
Yep.
But below Ben. He did a really good job though. I felt.
With what he had, he did a good job.
Yeah. And then that brings us to Ben Grimm, played by Jamie Bell.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was probably copying it just as much, if not a little bit more flack than Michael B. Jordan, because a lot of people thought this isn't Ben Grimm.
Yeah.
And some people don't.
But like
think that's
when it gets down to it, It doesn't matter what he looks like as a person, because like he's
so many times.
He's just going to be a rock monster for the rest of the movie.
Exactly. Unless of course they pull some kind of shit that they did in the second movie.
Unless they do what they.
Yeah, but I thought what he went through in the movie was a kind of good change, because out of all the characters, I think he probably gets the less screen time.
Yeah.
At least from Ben's point of view.
Yeah.
But him and we'll talk about this when we get to character, but him and Reed are the only ones that really have a connection, because Sue and Johnny are brother and sister, but
it doesn't really feel like they grow up together.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
They never have like that bond. Yeah. I don't know if that's because she's adopted and it's just kind of some sort of brain thing, like you just don't think about it. But yeah,
I don't know. It didn't really feel like they were siblings.
I think one of the highlight scenes was when Reed was in the vent.
Yeah.
And Ben is just freaking out.
Ben literally pulls his arm out of the rocks to reach up to him.
He has no idea what's going on, and it's an emotional scene, and seeing what he goes through.
And they both did a great job in that scene.
Oh yeah,
I just want to applaud them on that.
Yeah,
that was really good.
I just thought he was one of the highlights of the movie.
Yeah.
Then we come to Toby Kebbell as Victor Von Doom.
I thought he did a good job.
He
did a good job. Yeah.
Being a dick.
Yeah.
And as Doom, no, for fuck's sake.
Pause for a sec.
Huh?
There we go.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. So he was really good.
Yeah.
Did a good job at being the dick. A lot of people prefer his performance as Victor to when he becomes Doom.
Yeah.
But that's just because there's so little of Doom to go off of. But I think a lot of people don't like the fact that as Doom, he's got a completely stoic face.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people liked his... I haven't seen it, but he was in the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And a lot of people were really... When he was cast, a lot of people were going, yeah, because, he does such a good motion capture performance. So if the face was probably animated, that probably would have helped, but
yeah.
I think it was just kind of creepy having this complete glass face meld thing and no emotion out of it, but all the emotion comes from the voice.
Yeah.
And I thought he was a good villain for what little part he had in the movie.
He was very menacing.
Yeah.
Like, and intimidating. Like you
felt. There were times that like.
There were times that he did go into like a little bit of Cheesetown, a bit.
Maybe.
Like he did seem a little preachy at some points. Like when he was saying like, I need to go. There is no more Victor. That is my world now.
A lot of people hate that.
You've been there for a year.
And that's why some people say he's not Victor Von Doom anymore. He's being possessed by something. Because, I mean, Dr. Doom. He doesn't change his name. He is called Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
He embraces who he is, and he's so egotistical. So, he would still continue to go by Victor Von Doom. That's why a lot of people were having some problem with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I thought he did a really good job at portraying as a dick, douche character, but at the same time, not to an antagonistic level, because he was still kind of friendly with them.
Yeah, like you did get the feel that yes, he kind of resented like Reed a little bit.
Yeah.
But you didn't really feel like he would go to any lengths to like kill him.
Yeah.
At that point,
that's character. So we'll discuss that later. But he did a good job. We then have Reg E. Caffey, I believe his name is, as Franklin Storm. a lot of people fell in love with his voice.
He sounds like a Transformer.
He does. He looks like a Transformer, if I can be honest. I mean, his face looks like a Transformer.
I was half expecting him to, like, say, like, Fantastic Four Transformer roll out.
Yep.
Which they actually can, so...
Yeah.
So funny.
He was definitely the mentor role.
Yeah. I did like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was necessary he had to die.
No, when he did die, I was like, oh god, we're doing a dead mentor slash father character
to see
thing.
him. That's what I was afraid they were going to do to Hank Pym.
Yeah.
In Ant-Man several times. I'm glad they didn't, because I do hate it when it's like, okay, so he's only here to serve the purpose of the first film, so the hero can become, I guess, it's kind of like Phil Coulson, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess he was the mentor. We brought the team together in
he was a plot device.
But I do hate it when they do that. They kill off the mentor. I mean, I guess
just to motivate the characters.
Probably the first instance of it ever is probably Star Wars.
Yeah.
Maybe before. I mean, that's the one that is. But even then,
the earliest one I can think of.
Ben's in the other ones, so as a ghost, but it doesn't matter.
Yes, Franklin's going to be in the other ones.
Yeah,
and, like,
as a ghost.
Reed's going to be like in the North Pole. He's going to reach out his arm and be like, Franklin.
Hey, it's Franklin. Anyway. But yeah.
Ben will ride up on a wampa.
He did
a wampa, Tom. What the fuck?
He did a good job.
Yeah.
For the classic mentor role.
Classic mentor slash preachy scientist.
Yeah. Then we have the only other real character worth noting is Tim Blake Nelson as Dr. Henry Allen. Who is supposed to be Mole Man.
Yep. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, neither did I. They don't... it is supposed to be Mole Man, but they don't have the same name. In the comics, it's Dr. Henry something. But... I don't care. It's fucking Mole Man. I don't give a shit.
Who gives a fuck about Mole Man?
I hate the actor. He gets on my nerves.
I couldn't.
I wanted to punch
as soon as you mentioned like him being an Incredible Hulk, I couldn't get him out of my head.
I hated him in that too. Plus the fact that he looks like he's chewing gum throughout every scene he's in.
'Cause he is, man.
I'm like, why?
He was. Do you see how cheap it is?
Yeah, but is it necessary for him to be chewing throughout every fucking scene?
Maybe he's chewing bits of apple that he bit earlier, because I must eat an apple to
maybe he can fuck
that
off.
I'm an asshole.
Maybe he can fuck off.
Maybe
he does
a little bit.
But yeah,
so he's a military government guy. So you'd want to punch him in the face anyway.
I've only seen him in this and Incredible Hulk, and he got on my nerve in both movies. I don't want to talk about. Anyway, so.
He looks like he's gonna poop.
Yeah. Rating the cast, I give it a 6 out of 10, just for the fact that they don't get much to do.
Yeah.
They do good jobs, but just purely based on the fact that some of them go unnoticed.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. It's all down to the plot, really, which is why I gave the plot such a low thing, because it impacts on everything. It affects everything across the board. So, the cast, it's 6. What?
I'll give it a 6 as well.
Yep, okay, so that's 2 6s. You get the plot of 5.
I'll just do the math right
scribble that down. Rolling on to characters. So we have Reed. We've talked about him as that nerd character. His cares for his friends. I mean, the first thing he does when he wakes up is say, "Where are my friends?"
Yeah.
And he escapes and, spends all that time trying to find Ben. like we were saying before, Ben and Reed are the only characters that have any kind of connection.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing. It's not a Fantastic Four movie because I don't ever feel that they're a team.
Yeah.
I don't ever feel there's 4 of them. I feel there's 4 of them, but they're not a team.
They're not the 4 of them.
Yeah, no. Exactly. Even after the cliche mentor death that usually unifies teams, they never really feel like a team.
They don't really feel like they've unified.
Not really. Not even until, like, the very end.
Like at the very end, you do get the little bit like, these guys are really cute for like 5 seconds.
But yeah, I never got the sense of a romantic bond between.
I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't because it's cliche now.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing I can't remember, but in the original movie, they've all known each other for like God knows how long, right?
Hmm.
And I'm not sure if that's an element in the comics, or do they all meet?
I don't know.
It?
I think that's they haven't met
or something.
I think that they haven't met yet in the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, but
which this universe is very much like based on.
Yeah. Like, it's bad for a team-up movie because this isn't the Avengers.
Yeah.
They're all supposed to be, they're not their own separate heroes.
They are one unit.
This whole experience, and it's... Yeah. I mean, the only one, apart from Ben and Grimm, I guess everyone, or to an extent, I guess not Ben, but everyone kind of has, I mean, Franklin kind of just views everyone as his kids.
Yep.
Which, whenever I heard him say, like, whenever he called someone's son, I'm like, fucking, who are you going to adopt next?
He's going to adopt all
everyone.
of them. Well, everyone's his child.
Not anymore.
Child. Not anymore.
Well,
he's going to adopt them
everyone's fatherless now.
He's going to adopt them from inside the Force.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is one, apart from, like, the timing issue, but even then it's due to the timing. They don't really bond. I mean, hell, Reed runs off for an entire year and doesn't have that bonding experience with most of them. But I think that
the other 3 don't feel like they've bonded very much. But
and they've had that whole year.
But yeah, that's probably because Ben's been very distant from them.
Ben and I think Ben is the only one. Reed is the only one who Ben spends any, like, alone time with.
Yeah.
You don't really get much
of anything else. This is one of the reasons why I want a sequel.
Yeah.
Like, I want
the characters need to be flushed out.
I want more time, like, with just have a few scenes with some of the characters one-on-one.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even... The movie doesn't even need to have a villain. The villain could just be, like a plot device that they bring in.
Yeah.
But, like, we don't really need, like, this is Fantastic Four, right? It's primarily about these 4 people.
Yeah.
They're pretty much a family and stuff, and it's very much about them.
It's not a family.
It's not superhero.
I mean, what they're referred to as Marvel's first family, or Marvel's founding family, or whatever the hell they call them.
And
they're not a family.
They were literally like the comic series that inspired DC to make the Justice League.
Yeah. And you got...
Which is funny, because we got Fantastic Four before Justice League.
Yeah.
So.
And you got Ben and Reed are literally the only ones that have a connection.
Yeah.
Even brother and sister, Sue and Johnny, do not have a connection.
Yeah.
I just feel like, oh, okay, whatever.
KK then.
The individual characters on their own are good.
Yep.
But...
As a familial unit, no.
No. They're not even as a team.
Yeah.
No. Actually, give me the pencil. I want to scribble this out because I'm changing my score.
Fox, please, just. I know you're gonna lose a lot of money from this movie.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
At least try and attempt a sequel. And if not a sequel, then like I don't know, finance a TV series or something. Like we need more Fantastic Four.
Yes,
I feel like not enough people know who the Fantastic Four is, and that's a shame, because the Fantastic Four are great. Like, I don't care about them that much, but I feel like I would if we got something like a TV series.
Yeah.
Or like a Netflix series.
Or someone even said that maybe it's kind of like a Hulk dilemma, where the character is probably a bit more interesting when they don't have their own movie.
Yeah.
Because the Hulk, I mean, the 2003 Hulk is shit.
Yeah. Incredible Hulk was like
look at
rated
Incredible
terribly.
Hulk. It is at the bottom of a lot of people's lists.
Yeah.
Not my own. I thought that movie was fine at what it did. But a lot of people agree that Hulk at his best is when he's in the Avengers movies. Some people think probably the Fantastic Four should be supporting characters in a Spider-Man film or something along those lines, and they should probably not have their own anything. Which, okay, if the rights were to go back to Marvel, that's probably the best choice, because these characters have been done a few times.
Like 3.
Yeah. And then when you look
at when you look at superhero movies, that is a few times.
Yeah.
So.
And not really any of them are really well received.
Yeah.
Like,
I wouldn't say that not any of them are good, but like they're not...
I think Rise of the Silver Surfer is a really good movie. But that's just me.
I need to rewatch it before I can actually say whether it's a good or bad.
Yeah, well, I remember loving it, and 9 times out of 10, when I remember loving a movie, it usually is as good, if not better.
Except in the case of X-Men.
Yeah. Anyway, so Doctor Doom, his character is all over the place. He's an arrogant dick, but not to an antagonistic level.
Yep.
Which is good. I do have a problem when he becomes Doctor Doom, because he's not Doctor Doom. He's not egotistical, which kind of leads me to believe he is possessed, or was possessed. He's not Doom anymore.
Yep.
He
was out of the writers, didn't know anything about Doctor Doom.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the big things that pissed people off was the cast were told not to read anything about their characters. A lot of people viewed as a slap to the face of the fans.
Yep. Okay, so
I think it's important to make the characters their own, because Robert Downey Jr. is so different from any Tony Stark.
Yeah, like if you look at the original,
Tony Stark is a boring character.
I've read like the first issue of Avengers, like the original, like the very first issue of Avengers, and Tony Stark is just so fucking boring.
Yeah, Tony Stark is a boring character.
He calls everyone lad and stuff, and it's like, and but that's 60s Tony, so I don't know what like modern Tony is. Like I've read like Civil War.
Yeah.
I think the first volume of Civil War, and Tony is like he's not like Robert Downey Jr. in that. So, yeah, he's like comic Tony before the movies, and I don't know, like maybe even after the movies, is a pretty boring character.
Yeah. Like there's certain characters that keep them comic accurate and all of that, but like the Fantastic Four are like very 60s.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they've ever grown out of it. Yeah. And they're just kind of cheesy all around.
Like,
I think the best thing to ever come out of the Fantastic Four, most people agree. I haven't seen the series, but World's Greatest Heroes.
Yeah. Which
a lot of people love.
Well, that Fantastic Four World's Greatest Heroes has more than just the Fantastic Four, so that might be a factor. So
true. A lot of people think that's like the best ever Fantastic Four media, like in existence. Characters. I have to give it a 2,
right?
Just because the individual characters are good, but I shouldn't be saying that for a Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
I should not be saying the individual characters are good. Like, I would take...
You should be saying the individual characters are good, and they work even better as a unit.
I would easily take the individual characters being weak, but together they form a strong unit.
Yeah.
Than this, because I mean the characters are pretty weak in the original two.
Yeah.
But as a unit, they work well. I got a sense that Johnny...
I love the friendly banter in the original movie.
I get the sense that Johnny, you know, and Sue
because Sue tells him off and stuff. Yeah. And we don't get that in this movie.
I get the sense that Johnny and Ben butt heads all the time, and they're always messing around. And, you know...
But, you know, they don't really butt heads in this movie because they haven't met before this.
Well, there's a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit.
Yeah.
But the thing... The only one I can take away from this film is Ben and Reed's relationship.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
So, yeah, so you give it a 2.
I'm going to give it a 2.
I was going to give it a 5, but given those points, I'm going to go...
Well, my original rating was a 5.
Yeah.
I tried to dumb it down to a 3, and even that didn't feel good to me.
Given those like points, I'm going to drop it down to a 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But, yeah, even Doom isn't...
Yeah.
Doom. And then the look of the film, both like the visual styling, the tone of the film. Seeing as I knocked down character, I'm going to knock the look of the film up a bit.
Yep.
Please borrow the pencil.
So, the look didn't look bad. Like
it wasn't a bad look.
It had that like.
But then you've got to ask yourself, which look?
Yeah.
Because it undergoes so many different ones.
Like the sci-fi when it was a sci-fi movie, it had very much like a realistic, like real anyway, so it did have that realistic look. Like the technology looked like it would work and stuff.
It definitely did.
Yeah, and then when we got to Planet Zero, the like the landscape of it and stuff looked very bleak and stuff. And then
it's even said that it looks like Earth before it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I think before life on Earth. That's what I think. Yeah, primordial rocks everywhere, weird pools of green shit.
Then there's the look at the characters as well.
Yep.
Reed's suit has a lot of springs and
it does
and
look. It looks very homemade, very improvised.
And that's what the suits are. They're functional suits.
Yep.
Sue's not so much. Sue's is just... But then again, that is reflected in the suits.
Yeah.
Sue's suit does not need to
It doesn't need to do much besides actually turn invisible.
I think Johnny's was the most interesting of the lot. The visually interesting. It had all the vents and... was a really cool looking suit.
And then there were like 4 little bars.
Yeah. And then
that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and then there's Ben, which he's just naked.
Yeah.
But
I hope they give him pants in a potential sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they do anything more with these, if they do any more of these, like maybe give him pants. Like you don't have to.
Yeah, no.
Like you didn't. It's not.
I didn't mind it.
It wasn't
like obviously it was one thing in the trailer. Everyone was going, "Oh, why is he naked?"
It wasn't off-putting.
But it wasn't. I didn't notice it. But
yeah,
the look of the thing was cool.
Maybe. Yeah, he did. He looked really cool, and half the time it did. The CG wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't.
I've heard a lot of people like criticize the green screen and stuff in this movie, and it's like it wasn't. It didn't look terrible. Like I didn't see any like green glares on anyone. I couldn't see any outlines of green.
And then whenever Ben would move, you'd see all the rocks shifting.
Yeah.
It wouldn't just be that one solid matter. And that's obviously one thing about the practical effects they used on Michael Chiklis.
Rubber suit.
It looked rubber. I mean, it wasn't bad by any means, but it just wasn't.
It just didn't really look like rocks.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it paired with like the rock sound effects that they added in post production. It did look like
voice,
rocks, but
in the new one.
Yeah.
It was. I was kind of wondering what they would do with his voice, and I was fine with what they did. The gravelly kind of sound he had, and like when he talked, it was kind of like, you know, rocks were shifting in his vocal cords or something. But
it sounded and looked really cool.
Yeah, it did. Doom.
Like terrifying.
What they did with him.
A terrifying look.
He looked very terrifying.
Yep.
Doctor Doom is probably something hard to get
right in live action.
Yeah. I personally didn't have a problem with him in the original films. A lot of people did. I don't know why. But here, I think he had a lot more of a presence, despite having not that much screen time. I think he had a presence that he never did in the original. He never really had that presence. But here, I think he did command the screen both as Victor and as Doom.
Yeah.
The look of the face was very inorganic and organic at the same time.
Yeah.
It was all kind of...
And he wasn't shiny silver or anything. No. He was like dulled gray.
And you had all these
silver.
Different textures that were going on. There was the green pulsating on him. And
no, he just looked very cool.
Yeah. My favourite part of it were the more kind of horrific kind of scenes, such as when Reed wakes up.
Yeah.
And all the great
like I wasn't expecting it, and the stretching like. I have to applaud this movie on making the stretching like plasticky not look stupid.
Yeah, no, because it didn't.
Like it didn't. I mean, there's no way you can get around the fact that stretching is stupid.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
In this, like, I felt like I could just forget that it was stupid and just go, "Wow, this looks horrifying, but also really awesome. Wow, I want to see more of this, but at the same time, I don't. Don't show me more of this, but show me more of this." Yeah,
exactly. And the Doctor Doom scene when he's blowing everyone's brains out. Like I said, my favorite part of the film.
Yeah. As I said, that scene came as a shock to me, and that's part of the reason why I love it. Like, I was not expecting blood and everything in this movie.
I was not either.
And that's pretty much the only part of the movie that has like blood or anything, and that's kind of an like I don't know, maybe it's a really big shift in tone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like
it goes from being more sci-fi orientated to suddenly you've got these horrific elements.
Yeah, suddenly
I liked it. I want more horror. I want more horrific elements in horror movies.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't put did I say horrific elements in horror movies?
Yes.
Well, there's that.
I want more horrific horror elements in horror movies.
Well, there's that. I mean, there's a lot of modern horror movies that need it.
Yeah.
But I mean, comic book movies. I want more horrific elements in comic book movies.
Yeah, like, a little bit.
Not like
don't full on go, oh, heads exploding, people getting decapitated by the main villain.
The MCU just wouldn't work.
Yeah, the MCU.
Well, for Doctor Strange it could.
Yeah, but I feel like the MCU has already established that they're a very family-friendly universe, and they won't go like down the road of exploding heads or anything.
No, definitely not.
Except in Daredevil.
Yeah.
But like that's Daredevil. That's Netflix.
And I think like I guess psychological horror could have been like the scene in Man of Steel with the skulls.
Yeah.
The dream sequence.
Yeah, that was terrible. That's creepy.
That was quite horrific, I guess. But I think it would be something that could be incorporated to more comic book
as long as
movies,
it's done well.
It gave it a fresh.
Like it was done well here.
Yeah, it definitely was.
We need more comic book movies that have this horrific element to it that is done well. Because if we have just a bunch of comic book movies with horrific elements in them, and it's all awful, then like stop putting horrific elements in comic movies.
Yeah, definitely.
Movies. But you know, in this movie, I feel I wanted more of the horrific elements.
Oh yeah, because
I'm not really that big a fan of horror.
Yeah, no.
And I wanted more horror.
I rate the tone and look of the film a 6.
Yep.
For all the above reasons. I think its strongest elements it didn't hit home with. They did their job well, but they should have been more.
Yeah.
It just kind of comes up as there's not really enough of all of them. All of the elements are fine, and it would have been nice to see more of each element.
Yeah.
Because the sci-fi comes to kind of a halt, and then it just doesn't have a tone in the last half, really.
Yeah.
The only tone we get is the horror elements.
Yeah.
So I give it a 6.
I'm going to give it a... I was about to say 5, but then I'm going to rate it a little higher and go 7.
Alright, 7?
Yeah.
So my final score is 18 out of a possible 40.
Yep.
What's your...
Hang on, I'm just adding stuff up.
Alrighty. Silence.
Okay. Now I've got to remember which ones are mine. Okay. 5.
Oh, so you've been writing mine down too.
Yeah, I was adding all of them up.
Yeah. So my plot was 4.
Yep.
My cast was 6.
Yep.
Characters were a 2.
Yep.
And the look of the film is 6.
Right.
So final score 18.
Mine are 4, 6, 4, and 7.
Mm-hmm.
That's a score of 21.
21. So overall, I think you came out a little bit ahead there.
Yep. So that's 21 out of 40.
So 21 out of 40. Combining those scores. Yours was a 21?
Yep.
So 39.
Oh, I got 40. Hang on a sec.
You can tell we're great at maths, guys.
Yeah.
I got
totally passed it. Okay, 4 plus 5, 9.
Yeah.
6 plus 6, 12.
Mm.
So 9 plus 12 is 21.
Yeah.
2 plus 4, 6. Plus 21, 27.
Mm.
27 plus 6, 23. Is it?
Wait,
yeah,
what?
It is. 6.
What?
What?
21 plus... Wait, 20 what?
27 plus 6. 21 plus 2 plus 4
Yeah.
is 6.
Okay.
Is 27. So
Alright.
27 plus 6 plus 7. Wait. What was your last score again?
My last one, so look at the film.
Yeah.
That was 6.
Yeah, that's 6. 27 plus 6 plus 7 is 40.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I think I might have screwed my maths up because I kept changing my scores through the whole thing. And
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's either a 39 or a 40. So we'll say 40.
Yep.
So that's half marks. Would you recommend this film to people?
I would definitely recommend this film.
I would recommend it, but not in cinema.
Yeah, if you're going to see this movie, and
Well,
you want
actually-
to, I would say go to see this movie on the days that movie tickets are cheaper.
Yes, go and see it if they're discounted, because that's what we did.
Yeah.
And
so
I'd say the only reason to watch this in cinema is so we can get another one.
Yeah.
Because I want another one.
I do.
I want these characters to be more fleshed out. I am afraid this is probably going to fall into the same category as the Amazing Spider-Man franchise.
Yep.
Where it's just
going to fall
even
in the
though
middle.
people hold those movies in high regard, but people don't really hold any Fantastic Four movie in high regard.
Yeah.
Like, there are a few people that do.
I would say I recommend this to people who don't know anything about the Fantastic Four and want to get into them.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I would not recommend this to someone who knows the Fantastic Four really well and is looking for a Fantastic Four movie.
If you are a purist and you think everything should be identical to the comics, do not see this movie.
Even if you think things should be slightly should resemble the comics, don't see this movie.
Yeah. If you are expecting a good movie, I can't recommend this either.
No.
Because it's not a good...
It's not a good movie, but it's not a bad one either.
No, it's a good movie. It's a decent movie.
Yeah.
It's just not, oh my god, this is... Which I don't think anyone was expecting it to be.
Yeah.
I
I think no one it was pretty much no one expecting that this was going to be like a masterpiece of modern cinema.
No. And you're not going to get it here.
No, you're not.
You're going...
You're going to get a Fantastic Four movie that's not really a Fantastic Four movie.
No. You're not going to get your money's worth, basically, I don't feel.
I would say wait and...
I mean, I enjoyed it, and I still can say I didn't get my money's worth.
Yeah. Like, okay,
the only reason to see it in cinema is so you can support it and put your money towards it, and I don't think that's a good enough reason to go see it.
Yeah.
I feel there's not going to be a sequel. This won't be a franchise, no matter what you do.
And that's kind of upsetting.
Yeah, because it's films like this that need a sequel. And I think when you come out of a movie theater saying that needs a sequel, I feel that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Because it leaves you... There's leaving you wanting more,
and then there's leaving you...
the good kind of leaving you wanting more. It's like, oh, I can't wait till the next one. And but if a movie makes you feel like, I want a little bit more.
If a movie makes you feel like that it needs a sequel, then like...
It's kind of failed as a standalone movie.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah. So it's not a good movie by any... Or it's not a bad movie.
It's not good, but it's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, I know this movie has like a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes or something.
Yeah.
So
but it's got a
there are people out there...
It's got a 3.9 on IMDb.
There are a lot of people who hate it. For me, it's better than Age of Ultron.
It is better than Age of Ultron.
But not as good as Ant-Man.
But not as good as Ant-Man.
And going into 2015, I did not expect Age of Ultron to be the worst superhero movie.
Yeah. It's kind of flipped around.
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting Ant-Man to be the worst. Honestly.
Well, for me, it was a toss-up between those two, because I couldn't decide. Yeah. I could not give a shit about either one of them.
Yeah.
But I've seen Age of Ultron twice, and Ant-Man twice.
Yep.
This one, we only watched it Monday.
Yep.
It's Wednesday now. And I can safely say that my opinions of those two movies did not change after a second viewing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking this one won't either.
Yep.
I
will see it a second time.
I definitely will. I'll probably even watch it a few times.
It's worth a second viewing.
I think this is a movie you can watch a few times because it's not a long movie. It's only an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to watch it...
It doesn't take much out of your day.
It doesn't take much. Movies such as The Avengers or other movies like that, you can only watch a few times before it starts to get dull.
Yeah.
Like, I watched it probably for the 7th time, and on that 7th viewing, I was like,
I put on The Avengers before I go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've said
as much as we can.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What should we do for the podcast Sunday?
Topic.
Yeah.
This week, because you've decided on all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Without,
but then again, you didn't have much.
Knowledge, so
you didn't have much suggestions.
No. Oh my god. What do I want to do? I don't know.
This is why I come up with the ideas.
Yeah.
I'm the windmill.
The windmill.
Windmill.
I don't want to do anything like related to superheroes.
Yeah.
Because like we've
kind of stretched it out.
We've done superheroes.
We've done
a few times. And so I don't know. I kind of want to talk about comedies a little bit.
Comedies?
Yeah.
Well,
like I don't know what about comedies, but we could just talk about comedies.
Leading up to when we eventually it's decided, but the not known date for when we do Doctor Who videos, we could fill with possibly talking about not just comedies, but childhood movies.
Childhood movies. That's a good one.
Because last night I rewatched The Iron Giant. And
please don't make me rewatch that.
And I can say that is my favorite movie of all time.
Okay.
I can say that, and
okay, top 5 childhood movies.
All right.
That are still you can still enjoy now.
Okay. Well, I think that won't be for Sunday because I think this is probably going to take a bit of time to sit down and think because we've got 4 days until Sunday or something, whatever.
Yep. So next Sunday. Next Sunday will be top 5 childhood movies that we can still enjoy now.
That we can still enjoy, and maybe we might throw in top 5 childhood movies that don't necessarily hold up.
Yep, top 5 childhood. Okay, so top 5,
or just top 5 childhood television shows and movies.
I would say movies first.
Because speaking. For me, at least, I don't have that many childhood movies. I was more of a childhood television show kind of guy.
Okay, so I'll do top 5. I'll do top 5 movies for this, and then you do top 5 children's television shows.
Okay.
And then we'll just talk about them separately.
2 of them. Yeah. Actually, I can think of probably about 10 movies, or just however many I can rewatch that don't necessarily hold up.
Okay.
So 5 that do.
Okay.
5 that don't.
I'll do top 5 that do.
We will both do it.
Why not? Wait, why don't I do top 5 that do and you do top 5 that don't? And then we talk about them separately.
Maybe.
Like the first section is the top 5 that do, and the second section is top 5 that don't.
Yeah.
And it's where so we have differing opinion.
Yeah.
Then we can just talk about our differing opinion toward those movies without without getting to the point where you go where I say one movie and then couple entries down the road you say the same movie and then we start talking about that for 5 seconds.
Yeah. All right. So I
don't know. I'm just mind.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely sort that out.
Yep.
But I'm thinking what we could possibly do for Sunday.
Sunday. Something simple. Something simple and that's quick to do because I don't really want to feel like going for 3 hours this Sunday.
No. Throwing it out there, we could examine, I think, a recent favorite of ours, a recent franchise, I guess you can call it, that currently it had its 2nd movie this year, and that is Pitch Perfect.
Yes. Okay, we're talking about Pitch
Perfect. If you have not seen it,
go watch it.
Definitely go watch it. I understand.
Both movies are out on DVD now.
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray
and
DVD.
So.
Blu-ray and DVD. If you don't have a Blu-ray player, why don't you have the Blu-ray player? But DVD's cheap.
But if you have not, it's a cappella comedy.
Musical comedies taking place
Might
in
not
colleges.
be everyone's cup of tea, but at least give the first one a watch and then tune in Sunday.
And then listen to us talk about it.
Us talking about it. It won't be a review.
I'll gush about it.
It won't be a review of either film. It'll just be us talking about both of them.
Click on the channel for on Sunday or probably Monday. Click on
whenever
the channel,
we get together.
Click on the channel whenever
when
it comes up to hear me gush about the movies and him probably listen to me gush about the movies.
Yeah, and then I feel like I kind of want to plan ahead. Next Wednesday.
Yep.
Will be our reviewing day.
Yep.
Hang
on. What's the date next Wednesday?
What's the date today? The 12th, so it would be the 18th?
Okay, so, wait, no, I can't do Wednesday.
Can't you?
No.
Why not?
I have rehearsals,
all
week next week.
All week next week. Okay.
Yeah, so you just do whatever.
Alrighty. Well, I'll probably try and get a guest host.
Yep.
And we'll just review what the fuck ever.
Nice.
So, this Sunday you can make though, right?
No.
No. You can't talk about Pitch Perfect.
That's closing night.
Poor you.
The next.
Or do you want me?
We can't. You can't talk about Pitch Perfect without me, man.
Okay. All right. So this Sunday, not Pitch Perfect. I'll contact my large group of friends and try and throw something together.
Yep.
And then, yeah. And then I presume next Sunday.
Next Sunday?
Yeah.
Wait, no. This Sunday.
This Sunday you can't do.
This Sunday, I think I can do this Sunday.
You'll know.
You'll find out.
You'll find out.
Because I'll either be not in the video or in the video.
Yes.
Or he'll do an update like tomorrow.
But now that superhero movies are done,
mm-hmm.
we've just got one more. Well, at least for me, one more movie I know I'm definitely going to see.
Mm-hmm.
If anything pops up, I'm not sure what comes out this year.
Yep.
But that's Star Wars.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to do our own, because at that point, around that time, I'll be in Townsville.
Yep.
So we'll definitely have to get our respective co-hosts and take a look at those movies.
Yep.
Because you're a twat, you can cover the prequels.
Damn it. Okay, fine.
Or we can...
And plus, I'm not really a massive hater of the prequels, so...
No, okay. You know what? Let's make this interesting.
Okay.
Leading up to before I leave for Townsville,
mm-hmm.
we can do something a bit interesting. We can do, not necessarily a live, but a quiz show. Where, well... It won't be the fans, because I don't think many people will submit questions. But we can get one of our numerous friends to come on and have a bunch of questions from the various fandoms that we're a part of.
Yep.
And quiz us. The loser has to cover the prequels.
Okay. I'm completely up for that.
The shit we come up with off the cuff.
It's gonna be good.
But the final question. Next year, we get the slew of superhero movies.
Yep.
This year, we got 3 of them.
Yep.
Everyone obviously thought the shining thing was going to be Age of Ultron. It was not.
So we're going to talk about which ones we think are going to be big or bad in
yeah, we're quickly going to run over which, well, obviously, I think Ant-Man was probably the one people were expecting to fail.
Yep.
And it didn't. Well, I mean, not box office-wise. Is it doing well?
It's doing well.
Okay, it's doing well.
Because word of mouth.
Yeah.
So.
But it was a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
So, which one do you think is the most likely to be the worst of next year?
Oh, we're talking about this now? Okay.
Yeah. Well, just quickly, I don't think it can particularly be a topic.
Probably not. So what's coming out next year?
Alright, so we've got Deadpool.
Yep.
X-Men Apocalypse.
Yep.
Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Dawn of Justice.
Yep.
Gambit.
Yep.
Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say the other... is Doctor Strange?
I think so. I don't know, maybe. Okay, but...
and there's one other, but I'm not sure.
I want to say Gambit's gonna fail.
Probably.
But, but then again, last year... Ant-Man's gonna fail.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. I feel like next year I'll be saying
not
Gambit.
Fail,
I feel like... Yeah.
What do you think will be the bad, the worst?
The worst. I don't know. Because they all sound so good except for Gambit.
I think potentially...
And I feel like Gambit will be good, actually.
Right. I think Suicide Squad, for the same reasons that Fantastic Four was not good.
Right.
They're not going to nail the fact it's a team movie.
Right.
They're going to focus on the characters that most people know, and that's the Joker and Harley. It's going to be a Joker and Harley movie.
I feel like it's going to be a Deadshot and Harley movie with all these other characters in it.
And I feel that they're not going to do a good job of explaining the characters and why I should care about them.
Yeah.
I'll care about Harley, Joker, and Deadshot no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I like those characters, but the characters I have no idea about, I'm just going to be all like, Alright? Do a job at explaining them.
Okay. So yeah. No, I think that's about it for now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright, well, actually, what do you think will be the diamond in the rough like Ant-Man was?
The diamond in the rough. I think Gambit.
Gambit?
I hate to say it, but
I don't think so.
Gambit.
I'm gonna even if
it won't be bad, but it will be decent.
Even if Gambit's a good movie, I'm still gonna disagree with it because I don't think any X-Men for the same reason.
Yeah,
as Fantastic Four. I don't think any of the X-Men should have their own movie except Wolverine, but that's because Wolverine
has
got a massive bunch of stories you can tell with that character just by himself.
Not only because people have given Wolverine a chance to tell his own story.
Yeah.
I feel like if other members of the X-Men were given that chance,
maybe
then they could get stories that you can actually tell.
Yeah. What do I think might be a diamond in the rough? I want to say Doctor Strange, but I don't.
Well, it's a new Marvel property, and you know how they do with new Marvel properties.
And then you know how they fuck them up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what the other one is that I'm missing.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, Ninja Turtles. That's mine. That's my diamond in the rough.
Okay.
Just because I loved that first one. I can say a movie has mountains of problems, but still like that movie, and I do not fucking know why. Like this movie, Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with you with Ninja Turtles now.
Yeah,
because
I don't know.
It's Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. So once this computer unfreezes, we'll end it.
We'll end it.
Until then, we better discuss something. We just can't have this. Whoa!
Oh, shit.
Whoa!
What happened?
I don't know. Come on. What's happening?
Better not be something bad.
It better not be, because
we've been talking.
Yeah.
For so long.
About some pretty good source matter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still on, maybe. Hopefully it's not done anything. What are you doing?
What's going on?
I don't know. I swear to God. That doesn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
We've been talking. We're not reviewing it again.
Not reviewing it again.
Although knowing us, we're short for subject matter.
Probably gonna review
the
it
light's
again.
there.
Whoop!
Oh,
whoop! Something's happening. Yes!
Okay.
Yes!
It's still frozen.
The light's on again, and the mouse is moving.
Okay. Alrighty, yes!
It's working!
We have light.
It's fine. Okay.
An hour and 47, not a bad for a review.
Okay.
Alright, so, shit. So you... Yeah.
I'm gonna set up my channel, like, right after this.
Okay. So, here's setting his channel up.
Yep.
He'll either be here Sunday, or he won't be here Sunday.
Review channel will be getting a new video week after next.
Week after next?
Yep, my review channel will be getting
I'm not sure when mine will be getting its next thing, because I kind of don't want to use this for Arkham Knight playthroughs.
Right.
I don't know why. You never know. I don't know when Arkham Knight playthroughs are going to come back. I don't think I've actually mentioned it, but I have been spoiled for the game. I have been spoiled on the identity of the Arkham Knight. Whoever that is, fuck off. Was that you, Joel?
That was Joel, yeah.
Yeah, fuck off. Yeah, shitty brother.
Anyway, yes, okay, now we'll end it right there.
Follow all the
social media links in the description.
Well, there's one social media link. That will be for our Facebook page.
See ya!
What the fuck? That is terrifying.